Titus Brandsma. Ano pa po yung pwede pa natin malaman tungkol sa kanya, at marami pa pong revelation kayong malalaman. Tapos, after po ng ating talk kay Titus, input about Titus, ay magkakaroon po tayo ng break, health break. And then after the break po, mga 11 a.m., saka po tayo magnamas. Okay po, salamat po. Hintayin lang po natin ang preparation ng mga nasa online para po bago tayo mag-start. Health in the Lord, blessings of the Holy Spirit. So welcome here in St. Titus Brandsma Center in New Manila, Quezon City, in our celebration for the first anniversary of the canonization of St. Titus Brandsma. Our celebration is much earlier than the real date of the canonization, which is on May 15. We intended to do this on this day, May 1, first because it's a holiday, para po mas maraming pumunta. Secondly, by May 15 po, the relic and image of St. Titus Brandsma will be at the Diocese of Ilagan, Isabela. So, kaya po, hindi natin siya makakasama. So, we grab the opportunity to be here and celebrate the anniversary of the canonization of St. Titus Brandsma. So, for us to start, may I ask everyone to stand and have your stampita for our opening prayer is at the back of the stampita. Let us all pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Prayer through the intercession of St. Titus Brandsma, all together. God, our Father, your servant, St. Titus Brandsma, labored zealously in your vineyard, and gave his life freely because of his faith in you. Through his intercession, I ask for your mercy and help. Father Titus never refused when he was asked for help by your people. In his name, I come to you with my needs. Lord, help me always to imitate the great faith, generous love, and burning zeal of St. Titus. Glorify your servant as he strove to glorify you. Amen. Mary, Mother of Carmel, pray for us. St. Titus Brandsma, Carmelite Martyr, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Pwede na po tayo maupo. A little introduction lang po tayo. Gusto ko lang po medyo mag-roll call. Tignan natin kung gaano tayo kasaya ngayon. Because of your presence, because of your smiles on your face. Sabihan nyo nga po yung katabi ninyo, mag-smile ka naman. We are still in the Easter season. Kaya huwag maging Biyernes Santo mga mukha. We are in the Easter season. So, tignan natin. Mula sa student friars, nandyan po sila. Kasama din po ang mga novices from the Spring of Carmel Novitiate House. Nandyan din po ang Teresa Community with our prior provincial, Father Toots, Ate Marisa, Kuya Butch, and other from the Teresa Community. Nandyan din po ang from the Diocesan Shrine and Parish of St. Paul of the Cross sa Marikina. Salamat po. Nandiyan din po ang Regina Decor Carmeli Community from Pulumbuhangin, Santa Maria, Bulacan. Yan. Welcome po. Welcome po. Nandyan din po ang mga sisters of Our Lady. Ang Carmel. Hello po. Nandyan din po ang mga minamahal naming ladies from the Magno community. Ayan po. Yung Magno community po, yan po yung inserted community ng OCARM sa Pagbag Novaliches. Nandyan din po ang mga brothers natin from the Order of these Carmelites, from the OCDs. Nandyan din po. Nandyan din po sila sa po kayo community. From the Associate of Teresa Community, kayo po. Project 7, Quezon City. Diba? Si Katuna. Meron din po tayo from Mary Health Christian Chapel sa bagong lipunan ng Krami, Quezon City. Meron din po tayo representative from Dumaguete. Wow. Si Brother C. Brother C. Meron po ba bagong hindi natawag? Baka magtampo kayo. Saan po? The Telesporos community of the Third Order of Carmelites. Meron din po tayong mga audience sa Zoom from different parts of the world, from different parts of the Philippines. Siguro po mga 3 million sila doon ngayon. Kaya po siguro dito mga 80 tayo, doon 3 million. So 3 million 80 ang ating mga audience. So thank you very much. Palakpakan natin ang Panginoon. Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you very much for answering the call of celebrating the first anniversary of the canonization of Saint Titus Brandsma. Alam niyo po, ito pong estampitang ito ay napakahalaga. Marami pong tao sa amin pong pag-iikot sa nationwide pilgrimage of Saint Titus Brandsma through the prayers written at the back of the stampita. Marami pong answered prayers kami natatanggap. May mga pumasa sa bar exam, board exam, sa simpleng exam sa school. Meron pong nagpahayag na siya ay unti-unting paggaling sa cancer, which eventually gumaling daw po siya through the intercession of St. Titus Brandsma. Marami pa po. Sana po sa pagdalaw ni St. Titus sa inyong community, nung dumalaw siya sa inyo, naramdaman niyo talaga ang presensya. Naramdaman niyo po talaga yung biyaya ng Diyos. Amen po ba? Amen. Kapagpakan natin ang Panginoon. At dahil po dyan, hindi na po ako makahaba, tinatawagan ko po ang first counselor ng ating pong St. Titus Brandsma Philippine Province of ng Order of Carmelites Philippine Province of St. Titus Brandsma, ang ating pong minamahal Reverend Father Esmeraldo Reforial Omar, para po sa opening remarks at pagpapakilala sino ang magtotalk sa ating ngayon. Salamat po.
Good morning, 3,080,000 participants. The Prior General of our order, Nihol O'Neill, in his letter to the Carmelite family, dated May 1, 2022, exactly a year ago today, for the occasion of the May 15, 2022 canonization of Titus Brandsma, said, "The witness of Father Titus is one that inspires and enlightens not only members of the Carmelite order, but the society in which we live. We find in him, or in Titus, in this time so troubled by the great threat and existence of war, we find in Titus a prophet of hope and a champion of peace." He further stated that the world and the church itself demands of us today a clear witness and an authentic life. Our desire is that the people might see what Carmelites are called to do. What is it that we are to be? Our saints ask. Who am I? is the defining question, the most important spiritual question. I am what God has made me. I am the combination of charisms that God placed in me. What I do comes from who I am. The very intense life of Blessed Titus Brandsma, now Saint Titus Brandsma, helps us to understand that when identity is understood as defined by activity, we run the risk of losing ourselves, choosing the wrong pathways. Charism is a living thing beyond speculation. There has to be an interaction between identity and mission, in which what we do helps us to define who we are, and who we are helps us to determine what we do, or what is our mission and of the quotation. Sisters and brothers, we are gathered today as to celebrate in advance the first anniversary of the canonization of Saint Titus Brandsma, for reasons explained by Brother Abin earlier. Today, I suggest that we go back to what our prior provincial said, or prior general said in his letter a year ago. Today, we hope to learn more about Titus Brandsma and be inspired by his life and works. Brother Lester Ali, who went to the Netherlands for 3 months from November 2022 to January 2023 to learn more about Titus, will share to us his inspirations and learnings. After his input, we will celebrate the Eucharist together to express our thanksgiving to God for all that has been, for the present, and for all that is to come. We also include in our gathering today our thanksgiving for a very memorable, inspiring, and life-giving nationwide pilgrimage of the relic and the image of Saint Titus Brandsma. Know that we are the only one doing this in the whole order, and our confreres from different countries could not believe that we are doing it nationwide, imagine, and for the whole year. And we will start again second week of May. I think that, or second or third week of May. So we will still continue with the pilgrimage. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng tulong sa pilgrimage. Nandito ang karamihan sa mga nakakatulong. Today, my dear brothers and sisters, as we ask who Saint Titus Brandsma was and who Titus Brandsma is for us now, we will also ask the same questions that Father Prior General was proposing in his letter. The most important question, who am I? Or who are the Carmelites? And with our Carmelism, we ask, what is the purpose of our life? Saint Titus helps us to realize that our life becomes a valuable witness when it is adorned by our works and by our own life. In addressing his Carmelite brothers in the Netherlands, Titus once said, "It is better not to know anything and believe fully than to know everything and have no feeling." Naintindihan natin? Hindi ko naintindihan. Only the one who is closely united to God can be truly close to his neighbor. Only the one who takes his nourishment from God can give witness to God by his words. Finally, my dear sisters and brothers, just sharing a bit of the homily of Pope Francis during the canonization, he said, holiness does not consist of a few heroic gestures, but of many small acts of daily love. That I can understand. My brothers and sisters, just small acts of love. Small acts of love. Today, we are going to do it. So let us enjoy and be inspired in our gathering today. Amen.
Welcome, Brother Lester Halley, Omar. Palakpakan po natin.
So, thank you, Father Dodo, for the introduction. Very enriching. Yun po ba? Ayan. So, what we're going to see today is Titus Brandsma among us. Siguro if you don't mind if I walk around, no? Kasi it's really mahirap if you just stand there. Sabi nga din, no? Ayun. So, Titus Brandsma among us. Naniwala naman tayo, mas ipatay na si Titus, kung sinasabi na siya, he is still among us. Well, physically, ayan, yung relic niya, his image. Pero we all know na yung legacy niya is very much alive among all of us Carmelites, among all of us here. Always constantly giving us inspiration through his intercession, through his example, through his ministry, and through his advocacy. Now, it's been... So it's been almost a year since he was canonized. May 15, 2022. 10 sila. Wholesale. They actually matipid kasi mas maraming sabay-sabay na canonization. Pipilit sa mga orders. So, makita natin na it's been a year, almost a year since he was canonized. And this is really a cause that, especially me personally, talagang sinundan ko. So, nakilala ko si Titus, senior high school pa lang ako. So that was 1988. I just read about him in a book, and that was it. So, syempre, when I became a Carmelite myself, mas lalo ako naging invested sa kanya. So, kaya I really followed his canonization. So, when I knew that his announcement of his canonization was impending, I was really ecstatic about it. Diba? Not just for me, but for the entire order. So, there he is. Sampu sila together with a very international lineup. There's an Indian, of course, there's the Italian, and others. So there. Now, what Titus Brandsma among us, so although gusto ko kayo bigyan ng talagang detalyado account ng buhay niya, paabutan tayo ng mga 1 week. So, in a nutshell, so I will try my best to give you as much Titus as we can in this short time. Pwede mo ba yun? Yay! Okay, now we begin. So, Titus, ang totoo niyang talagang pangalan, Ano. Ano raw? Ano nga? Ano Brandsma was born to Chiche, pangalan ng mami niya, and Titus Brandsma on February 23, 1881, at Serandil in Friesland, a province in the very north of the Netherlands. So the Brandsma family consisted of 4 girls and 2 boys. Ano was the first son and 5th child. 5 of the siblings would later enter religious life. So nandito po si Titus, si Ano, ayun si Ano, at yung bunso niya kapatid. Now, makita ninyo, yung mga lalaki, sila yung bunso. Sila yung bunso sa kanilang mga magkakapatid. And dahil 4 na babae ang panganay, syempre, at the time, ang tatay nila, si Titus, the father, excited magkaroon ng lalaki. Kaya sabi niya, di ba, typical of the time, sino ang aking tagapagmana? Naghahanap ako ng heir. So, when Anna was born, the family members reacted differently. Mixed reactions. His father was just happy finally have an heir. His mother was concerned that the child looked delicate and fragile. His two older sisters expected something more impressive from the store. Nalahin pa, di ba? And the next two younger sisters felt that baby Anna would be getting too much attention from family and friends. So ang tatay niya, dahil matagal na hintay ng lalaki, apat na babae, sunod eh. So masaya siya. Sabi niya, may tagapagmana na ako. Ang nanay, alam naman natin na mother is always right. Tama mo ba? Di ba ba? So nakita niya yung bata, sabi niya, mukhang sakitin naman itong bata kasi maliit kasi siya, tapos payat. So mukhang hindi matatagal, hindi ganon. So, yun din, kaya sabi ng two older sisters niya, hindi kami impressed. Kasi nga in-expect, ibang malaking expectation ko, nag-expect siguro sila ng gwapong baby, mataba, tapos ang lumabas, payatot, maliit. Kaya sabi nila, according to the biographer, they were expecting someone more impressive from the store. Tapos yung dalawang batang babae naman, na-threaten, kasi nga dati silang dalawa bilang bunso, nasa kanila yung attention ng lahat. So, pinanganak na si baby tapos lalaki pa, ay nako, sabi nila, hindi na kami papansinin na kasi may bagong favorite na. So that's what happened. Yan ang kanilang family. Of course, it was also the same thing din nung pinanganak yung bunso, si Henry. So ito ang kanilang family. So yung isa sa kanila, naging poor Claire, yung isa, yung kasama niya dito sa picture, naging OFM. So Franciscan po siya. Si Henry Cruz Brandsma. So later in life, itong kapatid ng Franciscan, naging bursar ng province nila. So, or economist. Ayan. So yun ang naging role niya. At silang dalawa, of course, naturally, silang pinaka-close sa pagkakapatid. Pero parang lalaki, tapos very close ang kanilang, siguro mga 1 year lang yata ang pagitan nilang dalawa. Pero if you will see the pictures, mas anak tao ang bunso kesa kay Titus. So, ayun nga, the family owned a dairy farm and herd, selling milk and cheese made on the farm itself. At the time, Catholics were a minority in Friesland and protective of the religion and culture. Kung baga po sa Netherlands, sa mga taga-Friesland, may sarili silang mundo. Oo, may sarili silang mundo ba? Naalala ko, nung pumunta kami sa bahay, po ngayon yung ng bahay nila naman sa Pollard. Siyempre. Yes, may kaya sila. So, hindi sila Islamista din, gano'n. Hindi sila poor. So, Anna's family already recognized that his physical state was not up to par with his siblings. His father thought he could never become a good farmer. Anna excelled in something else. Now, gusto ko pong maalala ninyo that Titus, throughout his life, he was never healthy. He was very sickly. Labas-pasok siya sa mga clinics, mga hospital. Kasi nga, lagi siyang nararamdaman lagi. So, mahina talaga kanya. Pero admirably, napansin ng kanyang family, what he lacked in physical energy, effort, malakas ang kanyang spiritual side, ang kanyang intellectual side. Bawing-bawi. Kaya sabi ko dito, Anna excelled in something else. So dahil hindi naman siya maaasahan mag-farming, Titus, the child, binasa niya lahat ng libro ng tatay niya. So, biology, chemistry, agricultural science, even mga books and spirituality, binasa lahat ni Titus. So, nakita ng kanyang family, may future ang bata ito. So, yun na. So, parang, okay na, pero at the back of everybody's mind, it was really his health that they were concerned about. Di ba? So, in this picture, you will see, of course, the house, and then there's parang plaque. It says there, Nada Etorbe. Yes, kasi super devoted si Titus kay St. Teresa of Avila. In fact, during his life, he would spend much of his time translating the works of Teresa of Avila. Nada Etorbe. And incidentally, ang mother niya, named Chiche, is actually a variation of the name Teresa. Because his mother was born on the feast day of Teresa of Avila. Yes. Kaya may ginawa siyang poem noon na in-spell out niya kada stanza, T-E-R-E, Teresa. So, kita natin how this devotion was not just kumbaga mababaw, but it's really deep. And throughout his life, Titus would find inspiration in Saint Teresa. So his father was known to be devoted to prayer, a reader of the Imitation of Christ and other devotional books, and taught his children spiritual hymns, especially on Sunday afternoons. His mother was an outspoken Catholic, so very opinionated yung nanay niya. Yes. Yeah, kaya siya ganun. Kapag pinagsama mo talaga yung devotion ng tatay niya at yung pagiging matigas na katoliko ng nanay niya, Titus sa labas. So in his younger years, Anna studied in the St. Anthony of Padua School, Mechelen, the Netherlands, run by the Franciscans. So his Franciscan teachers were worried about his fragile body and frequent stomach ailments. Father Carolus O.M. said, he looked like he came from a severe famine. So can you just imagine what he probably looked like? So talagang payatot po talaga siya. So laging nag-aalala ang mga pari sa kanya, mga Franciscan sa kanya. Na at that time, doon siya nakatira. Ngayon, ang ginagawa nila, meron siya laging special diet para lang kay Titus. Kasi gusto nilang patabahin siya. So, pinapakain siya, pinapakain. Kumbaga, iba yung nagiging menu sa kanya kumpara doon. So, hindi naman mga classmates. Pero most of the time, lagi na lang siya naririnig na pinuubog, sakit ang tiyan. So, pinapayagan siya minsan na umuwi-uwi sa kanila ba? Because of that. So, yun sa naging concern yun sa mga, sa kanyang mga teachers. And he did try to join the Franciscans. Pero dahil mga Franciscans doon, ng time na yan, may pagka-active, very active. So they thought na Titus would never survive their kind of way of life. Which led to Titus. So ito nga pala yung St. Andrew Padua School. Now it's no longer a school, sadly. It's now, parang siyang barangay hall. Yeah. So ganun na siya ngayon. It's now a barangay hall. So when we went there, may mga nagmi-meeting yung mga taga doon. Merong gymnasium, may restaurant na, pwede matulog dyan, yun. And itong pintuan ng friary ng mga Franciscans doon. So, currently there are 14 friars living there. Yes. So, after his Franciscan education, Ano discerned about his vocation. So, Ano considered becoming a Carthusian, a Trappist, a Jesuit, a Capuchin, or a Dominican. His cousin, Father Casimiros de Bourg Ocar, newly ordained then, told him about the history and ideals of the Carmelite order. So salamat kay Casimiros, sumali si Titus, o si Ano, sa Carmelites. And apparently, si Casimiros, very convincing kasi siyang tao magkwento. Very lively. Hence ba si Titus ay benta. Sige, nasali ako. Sabi niya. Sabi, uy, gusto ko yan yung ideals, yung history ng Carmelites. I'd like to be a part of it, sabi niya. Pero guess what else Casimiros told him? Sabi ni Casimiros kay Titus, ganito, so, you will join the postulancy program in Poxmere. So, yan yung para provincial house nila. Pero, sabi niya, 1 week lang ang postulancy natin doon. Sana all, di ba? 1 week lang ang postulancy. Gusto niyo ba yun? 1 week lang. Ang saya-saya, di ba? So 1 week lang after that, pasok na ng novitiate. So sabi ni Casimiros said, don't be shocked when you enter the monastery. Why? Unang-una, feeling mo others ka. Kasi nga, bagong salta ka lang eh. So, feeling ka. Pangalawa, mausok sa loob ng monastery. Tayo kasi, bakit mausok? Sabi ni kasi, talaga kasi ng friars nagsisigarilyo. So, patay na. Tapos pangatlo, medyo madilim ang monastery. So, medyo dark, nakaka-depress. Pero it will get better, sabi pag nasanay ka na. Sabi ni Casimiro, bigyan mo sarili mo ng 1 week para maka-adjust. Pero 4 days na naka-adjust na si Titus. Yes, 4 days na naka-adjust na si Titus. And then, after 1 week, ayun na. Novice na siya. Ang saya, di ba? Sana ganun ang program natin, di ba? Alam ka mangyayari, may lalabas kayo, may mapapalabas. Wala, pinaka-hate mong kasama sa formation. Kasama ko pa rin after 1 week, di ba? So ganun nangyari. So, yun nga, naramdaman agad niya ni Titus na, belong na. I already feel like I belong. So, yun na. So, and of course, they noticed that Titus had the intellectual capacity to take in whatever it is that's happening. And then, ito pa lang. So, you might wonder, bakit 1 week? So, when I was there, tinanong ako, me, Sister Anne-Marie Boss, and then the late great Case Wyman, we discussed it among ourselves in one community night, and we discussed together, bakit 1 week? Tapos si Anne-Marie, bakit 1 week? And then we figured that perhaps because during that time, formation was not that structured. So, kumbaga, it all really depended on whoever was the formator at that time. So, kung gusto ni formator mag 1 week, hindi mag 1 week tayo. So, ganun lang. But of course, 2 years. 2 years novitiate. So, we had this feeling that perhaps the first year of the novitiate might be the postulancy, and the second year was probably the actual novitiate, and perhaps that 1 week was probably what we call aspirancy now. So, it was really a completely different time. It was a completely different era, hardly recognizable from ours today. But it's a very interesting thing to consider, that how the Carmelites back then were being formed, and how within the time frame, all the ideals, all the values of a Carmelite would be crammed into that very limited time frame. So he began his novitiate at Oxmuir in September 1898, taking his father's name, Titus. So from then on, he became Titus as his religious name. So Casimiro told him that after his postulancy, all would go well. So he made his first profession in October 1899 and was ordained priest on June 17, 1905. After further studies at the Gregorian University in Rome, he was awarded a PhD in philosophy in 1909. Titus also had a keen interest in both spirituality and journalism, two areas which, together with his academic pursuits, would make up much of his life's work. So he probably did not expect that later in life, spirituality and journalism would go hand in hand in his mission in life. So it really became, let's just say that the path was paved. So in ministry and mission, so in 1923, Titus had found the Catholic University of Nijmegen, now known as Brandsma University, and worked there as lecturer, professor, and administrator. So he served as Rector Magnificus during academic year 1932-1933. So Rector Magnificus President. So every year ipapalit pala sila ng Rector Magnificus. Now when you say during that time, when you're a university president, you are seen at the pedestal. So you are very wow. So, hindi ka makawakan, hindi ka reachable. Ganon, hindi ka ganon ka-accessible kasi nga, kumbaga ito yung rock star ng university. So, he taught philosophy and history of piety, especially Dutch mysticism. He was convinced that the flourishing of education is of the greatest significance for the flourishing of society. So, he held education, studies in high regard. He was dedicated to the learning of the young. As a professor, he went around town giving philosophy lectures. And soon, he became president of the Union of Directors of Catholic Schools. Maganda sana kung maging patron saint din siya ng mga, ng mga school directors, universities, the presidents, mga deans. No? Good, great idea. Di ba? Masaya. And that time, Titus was always on the move for a good cause. Marami siyang connections. So he visited editorial offices of the Catholic Press, his family, and the Carmelite schools in Oz and Oldenzaal. So, yan mga train stations sa Netherlands. This one, yung blue na thread, and nakasulat sa taas, Titus Brandsma. So, in his honor, may sarili siyang friend. Nasakyan ko siya. May sarili siyang friend. O, di ba? Social, di ba? Malay ninyo, pagdating ng araw, may isang LRT coach na ipapamahalan sa inyo. Di ba? Ay, next slide na. Okay, as a Carmelite friar, he also liked to share the order's spiritual tradition with people outside of the university. Ano ginagawa lang natin mga friars na? He traveled widely lecturing on Carmelite spirituality. He was very observant and opinionated about his trips, as seen in his letters to his family. Now I chose this picture kasi na-travel yun eh. So this picture, this image, yung statue, you will see that at Brandsma University. Now, if you notice, this one, kaya parang naka-close up sa taas yung paa niya, because yung isang paa niya, nakahakbang na gano'n, slide. So, to signify that Titus was always on the move, and that he is eternally traveling, journeying with us. Galing, no? Naisipan nila yun. So details, so those minor details are very important. And that's his pair of shoes. So it can be found at on display at the Titus exhibit at the Bolsward Museum in the Netherlands. Yes, size 14. So si Titus oversized ang kanyang shoes. Mahilig po siyang kaya may mga drawings, may mga cartoon drawings na nag-exist na ang laki-laki ng paa niya. So cartoons, mukha niya, then mahaba ilo. Then mahaba yung sapatos. So, we were ang feeling namin, baka dahil na meron siyang mga ailments, lagi siyang nararamdaman, baka feeling namin, pag masyadong masikip yung shoes niya, baka tumatama sa nasasaktan siya. So gusto niya ng maluwag kasi hindi nga lang, Ronald McDonald vibe. Pero still, yun siya. So, yan yung kanyang shoes. Yeah, hanggang siya I think yan lang yata yung pair of shoes. Dalawa yung nakita kong pair of shoes niya. So that's the one. Ayun, he was very observant and opinionated about his trips. As he did his letters to his family. Of course, walang messenger noon. Walang email. Walang voice message. So, there are books that compile the letters of Titus Brandsma for his colleagues, then for his family. Yung kay family, volume 2. So, yung volume 2, letters to his family, you will be amazed dahil talagang, syempre, sulat cursive, sulat kamay, and very detailed siya magkwento sa family. So, he will tell his family about what he saw, what he observed, and you will see that Titus had a very different kind of sense of humor. And let's just put it that way. So may sense of humor siya, pero very typical of this kind. So, example na lang, when he went to Munich, it was his first time kasi he was traveling from Netherlands, I think he's traveling to Rome, and napadala sila sa Munich. Tuwa-tuwa siya kasi sabi, masarap pala yung beer dito. So sabi, so if you're going to new places, i-try niyo yung beer. So sabi niya. And then when he went to Italy for the first time, and then for the first time, he went to Italy, so nag-mass. So nag-assist siya sa mass. Pagpunta niya sa likod ng simbahan, nagulat siya, sabi niya, bakit ang gulo-gulo? Bakit ang gulo-gulo dito? So, yung mga ganyan mga little details na papansin niya. Tapos susulat niya, tapos kukwento niya sa family niya, yung mga na-obserbahan niya. Sasabihin niya kung sino-sino yung mga weird na taong na-meet niya. May mga ganun siya. Kaya nakakatawang tao siya. Yeah, so there's so much humanity when in his letter. So you will, kasi makikita mo kasi public image kasi niya serious. Di ba? So when you see his letters, a lot of time tawa ako ng tawa eh. Kasi sabi ko, nalait na siya. Lait na siya. So very Carmelite, di ba? Bakit? Di ba? Yan. So, kaya talaga the apple does not fall far from the tree. So, Professor Brandsma moved to the study house, the one there, the picture on the corner of Kronenberger Shingle and Stiftelsbrand. So what was he like as a professor? So what was he like as a professor? There are eyewitness accounts that said, si Titus daw at the start of his teaching career, he was a very boring professor. Monotonous daw siya magsalita. In fact, minsan, for one full semester, wala nag-enroll sa kanya. Pero may naawang isang babaeng estudyante, nag-enroll lang. Just for the para lang may tao lang sa klase niya. Pero of course, when he started this activist life, mas lalo siya nakilala, dumami na yung mga umaten. Yes. So in this house, he lived young Carmelite friars who were studying in the university. As prior, Titus took care of the small Carmelite community, which began with 6 brothers and then became 9. The community was under the patronage of Our Lady, Seat of Wisdom. In his position as Rector Magnificus, Titus received many visitors in his abode. Some would visit him even if the objective had nothing to do with academics. Despite his busy days, Titus endured his stomach ulcers and later, his bladder infection. Kasi nga, sobrang kabisihan niya. Nakakalimutan na niyang mag-bathroom break. Yeah, so he received many visitors in his abode, a lot of them students. And this is not typical behavior of a Rector Magnificus. This is talaga si Titus ang talaga kakaiba talaga. Dahil sa normal namin ng visitors niya, yung pito ng room niya, sa bahay nito, lagi nang bukas. Kasi hanggang 11 p.m. is always, kaya yung housekeeper concerned lagi sa kanya na lagi siya niremind, please eat. So, ang favorite palang kainin ni Titus boiled potatoes and boiled fish, white fish. Filet, of course. So, yun ang favorite niya kainin pala. Yeah. Kaya, nasipin na lang kinakain niya. So, yes. And then, some would visit him even the objective had nothing to do with academics. Why? Anong concerns nila? Naghahanap sila ng trabaho. As in, kay Titus sila humingi ng trabaho and recommendations, job references. Parang help desk lang ng mga unemployed. So good, and even Titus would reserve his time, samahan niya yung empleyado, yung nag-a-apply, pupuntahan nila yung ina-apply, kasamahan ni Titus. At sasabihin niya talaga, hire niyo siya. Ako na nagsasabi. Rector, magtibig ko sa kasama mo Of course, what better recommendation could you get, di ba? So, a lot of, even after he died, because kung namatay si Titus and they were collecting stories about him, marami na nag-submit. So, this was during the 50s. Marami nag-submit, and everybody, very consistent lahat, na Titus would go out of his way, doing things unexpected of a person of his position, of his stature. So, talagang he would really go the extra mile for everyone. Kaya ganun sabi ko, ganun talaga siya iba talaga siya. Ayan, so despite his busy days, magkasakit tuloy siya, lalo luman ang kanyang stomach ailment, gutom, tapos kakalimutan nga mag-bathroom break, so luman ang bladder. So things like that. Okay. That's what happened. So, punta na sa journalism. Ayan. So, even in his early years already, Titus was already founding and editing several publications. So, he was editor-in-chief and columnist. His desire was to make Christian mysticism accessible to a wider audience. Now, please remember that hindi lang talaga yung hardcore mysticism yung sulat niya, but more experiential. So you would not think na pag nagsusulat siya ng article, how can you pagka-lifestyle, may pagka-ano? Pero actually, if you dig deeper, he was actually spreading Christian mysticism through his writings. So, kaya he had many contacts. There's this picture there to your right. That's one of the rare photos. Makita niyo tumatawa si Titus. Ayan siya, nakaitim. So, tawang-tawa sila. Di ba lang kung yung joke? We will never know. Pero that's one of the very few pictures that you will see Titus actually very, very happy. There. So Titus was concerned about the work and responsibilities of journalists. This led to the Association of Dutch Catholic Journalists appointing Titus as the spiritual advisor to the Catholic Daily Press in 1935. And this position would get him into trouble later. He openly opposed the Nazis in 1935. At the end of 1941, the Dutch bishops forbade the Catholic papers to publish advertisements of the Nazis. So in 1942, Titus took it upon himself to visit all these editorial offices to explain the stance of the bishops. This led to his arrest in Nijmegen on January 19, 1942. So alam naman natin na yung mga Nazis, of course, white supremacy and all that. Alam na natin. So, he opposed everything. Now, ang mga Nazis, kilala yung mga yan sa disinformation campaigns nila at mga fake news nila. Sounds familiar? So, hindi na tayo natuto talaga. So, we keep committing the same mistakes over and over again with the fake news and disinformation. So, and that's what the Nazis were doing. They were saying that, actually, what we're doing here is actually for everybody's good. Parang sa ikabubuti naman lahat ito eh. Pag pinapatay natin yung mga Hudyo, okay lang. Kasi parang sa inyo lahat ito eh. Ganon ang kanilang ano. Tapos pinapalabas nila, may mga campaigns sila na pinapakita na very benevolent, ano sila, occupier sila. Of course, alam naman natin, hindi ganon. Pero in-oppose niya ni Titus. Ngayon, even the Dutch bishops, they took a stand na hindi natin ilabas sa advertisement. Because yung advertisement nila, hindi yan yung advertisement na parang Alaska lang, parang Coke. Pero advertisement in the form of propaganda. So, sinabi, hindi ilalabas yan. Of course, nagalit ang mga Nazis. And even Titus, he took it upon himself, nag-initiate siya. Kasi nagpadala ng directives. Pero si Titus, sabi niya, hindi lang, explain pa rin sa kanila, puntahan ko sila isa-isa. Sa loob, di ba? So, in addition, Titus was an advisor to the Archbishop of Utrecht, Johannes de Jong. He encouraged the bishops to, so ito yung mga pinaglaban ni Titus. He encouraged the bishops to speak out against the persecution of the Jews. That's one. The 60% salary cut of religious teachers. 2. 3. The forced resignation of clergy and religious school administrators. 5th, the exclusion of Jewish kids in schools. And 6th, the infringement of human rights generally by the occupiers. He earned the nickname, the Dangerous Little Friar. So itong poster nakita ninyo, yan po yung poster na ginamit promoting his beatification. Yan, so beatification November 3, 1985. This man is dangerous. No. So, against the persecution of the Jews, you'll see the 60% salary religious teachers and forced resignation of clergy and religious school admins. Bakit? Because the Nazis realized na ang totoong influencers during that time ay ang media at ang academe. Kasi sila ang nagpapakbo ng how people think eh. The media and the academe. And to make it worse for them, ang mga tao behind this, puro religious, mga clergy. So, ang ginawa ng mga Nazis, they thought, why don't we weaken their system? Why don't we cut their salary by 60%? At bakit hindi natin tanggalin lahat ng mga religious sa mga eskwelahan para humina ang kanilang kapit sa mga tao? sila ang totoong influencers, mga kapatid. Kaya napag-isipan din talaga nila. Alam nila kung saan talaga sila titirahin. Of course, the Nazis said, don't accept Jewish children in your schools. Titus took a stand. Because for Titus, everybody has the right to education. And everybody is accepted. Because that is what the church is telling us. So, he stood by that. Ayan. So, yan po ang mga nakalista, yan po yung mga pinaglaban ni Titus. Yan yung mga specific points on why he began his fight. Kaya yun, dahil sobrang maingay kasi siya, dangerous little friar. So Cardinal de Jong tried to discourage Titus from openly opposing the Nazis. But Titus insisted. He said, I can travel, advise, and evoke a kind of fidelity that may astound everyone. Confident. And so Titus met with editors, journalists, and people of influence, such as an example, yung picture na yan, na nakipag-usap talaga. So he was really at work. There are other pictures pa, showing him on the street, at work, talking to everyone regarding this issue. So Titus would write articles denouncing the Nazi way. Afterwards, the enemies would publish articles replying to his columns. Nagsasagutan sila sa mga diaryo, sa mga magazines. He simply preferred to hold on to his gospel values without hatred, but with clear statements. Hindi na nagdarasal si Titus noon. The way he wrote, he was grounded on the gospel values. He would explain, of course he was a philosopher, and he could explain it better. So he was able to thresh out his ideas without personal attacks. So it was so outspoken that two strange men were attending his lectures and taking down notes of what he was saying. So they nag-spy na sa kanya during that time. Mainit na ang pangalan, the dangerous little friar. So Pius XI called Nazism a doctrine of animosity in principle against God and His Church. Heavy statement. Very heavy statement. Titus wrote that fake news and disinformation were worse than a military invasion. Because those things, according to Titus, not only oppressed people's liberty, but polluted the consciousness of people. In short, pinapasok na niya ang spiritual state ng mga tao, na apektuhan na ang spirituality ng mga tao. At doon na talaga nag-ahaklas na si Titus. So you can see there. So these are heavy words, especially in those times. Very brave. Very brave. Yes. So mainit na nga ang mga mata ng mga Nazis sa mga religious. How much more pa sa isang friar na ang tapang at very open. At hindi lang very open, nasa kanya ang means to communicate his thoughts, his ideas to a greater number of people. Kilala pa siyang tao, high profile na siya noon. Can you imagine it? Wala siyang tao. Wala siyang takot. And so he was arrested on January 19, 1942. An official named Stephen arrested Titus and took him to be jailed at Scheveningen, notoriously known as Oranje Hotel in The Hague, in the Netherlands. Obvious naman sa picture kung bakit Oranje or orange. Kasi yun ang royal color ng Dutch. So, Oranje Hotel, kasi dito nakakulong ang mga political prisoners talaga. Yes, the House of Orange. So, a fellow Dutch Carmelite, Brother Raphael T. House, took care of him in prison. Remember, Titus' health started deteriorating rapidly due to the living conditions. So, because Nazis were merciless, they didn't care about the health of Titus. Maghukay ka, forced labor. Forced labor. At pag bumagal yung trabaho mo, parurusahan ka. O pwede ko ikaw lang parurusahan. Parurusahan din yung mga kasama mo. Damay-damay na. So it was a very, very intense. Pero ano pa lang daw yan? Ang sabi, level 1 pa lang yan ng paghihirap. Kumbaga itong Oranje Hotel, kumbaga pagdating sa pahirap, parang grade 1 lang na pahirap. Sa lagay na yun. Okay. So you will see here, that's a replica of the cell of Titus over there sa taas. So, i-replicate nila. Bali, itong ano na to, Orani Hotel, itong prison na to, museum na siya ngayon. So, hindi na siya ganun kalaki na in the sense na marami silang ginibat na mga barracks. Kaya if you go there, makita mo na lang, puro na lang siya open space. Iniwan na lang nila itong main building. Kaya nandiyan yung pinto, so inayos talaga nila, which is very, maganda pa yung ayos nila. Sa taas, nung in-arrest si Titus, yung mga brothers, they volunteered to take care of the canary, the pet canary of Titus. So may alaga siya, the canary. So si mga brother, di kami na mag-alaga doon na babalikan naman after 1 week. Because everybody was expecting na sandali lang ang jail time niya. Unfortunately, wala pang isang linggo namatay ang ibon. Yeah, so namatay ka ng ibon, pero the canary was preserved and it is now on display at the Bolsward Museum. So ito siguro pinakasabi ko, ito na yata pinakamalapit na relic, the first class relic siguro ni Titus. Siguro. At wala namang time first class ni Titus eh. So, yun, and then of course, brotherhood is alive. So Brother Raphael took care of Titus during his imprisonment. After this, papunta pala sa exciting part. On March 12, 1942, Titus was transferred to a worse camp, Amersfoort. In this concentration camp, Titus was subjected to many physical and mental tortures. He took all of these with his cheerfulness and faith. Masayahin pa po siyang tao. In fact, before I forget, sabi niya, in one of his journals, he said, "It is during these times that I'm in prison that I feel that I am closest with God. And if God wills that I stay here forever, I will do it." Very encouraging faith. Anyway, nothing stopped him from spreading the word of God in the cells. Even those from other religions listened admiringly to his secret sermons. So every night or once a week, they would organize a secret parang gospel service. They would do that. So secret gospel service, and then Titus would do the sermons. So even the other people from other religions, mga Jehovah's Witnesses, mga Protestants, Methodists, Anglicans, they would listen to Titus and they were very much in admiration of how Titus explained the Gospels, his homily. So marami siya naging fans doon. Galing na. Eh, kung tutuusin, again, may sakit na yung tao. And this happens in the evening. This only happens in the evening when he should already be resting. And dapat tulog na siya. Eh di ba nga, during the daylight, forced labor. Eh mabuti kung okay lang ng forced labor na ganito lang yung weather. Eh sometimes, in the bitter winter. So that's the situation. So if you see, this is Camp Amersfoort, you see this tower. This watchtower, so nandiyan yung mga Jew, yung mga Nazi soldiers. Ito pala mga Nazi soldiers na to. Meron pala silang parang kota na pag may nabaril kang, pag nabaril kang prisoner, nakatatlo ka, na patay, meron kang day off. At gusto nila magkaroon ng day off. Can you imagine, ginawa lang nilang parang lakaw na pumatay ang mga sundalo noon. Dahil gusto sila magkaroon ng day off. Paid leave po siya. Hostisya. Kaya pag titignan mo siya, na parang ngayon parang wala na. Pero actually pala, nung panahon na yan, pag tinitingnan pala itong watchtower na to, of course, everybody will look at it with a sense of dread, of fear, and horror. Kasi baka mapagtripan sila, which is which is talaga hindi matagal na nangyari, pagtripan sila, patayin sila. Yun, nagdaba. Okay. So finally, he was moved to the worst concentration camp ever. So Dachau in Germany. So that is, kumbaga ito ng peak. So if the two were, so if Dachau, if Scandinavian and Amersfoort were bad, Dachau was hell on earth, as how it was described by many prisoners. So he was subjected to unspeakable tortures. There, Titus fell deathly ill. He had coughing attacks and shortness of breath. He was taken to the infirmary by a good Catholic nurse, lalaki to, si Fritz Kur, and received the viatico from Father Joseph Kentenich. After 4 days of nursing, he lost consciousness. And on Sunday afternoon, July 28 at 2 o'clock, the infirmary signaled to the leader of the transport command that the body of prisoner number 30492 could be collected and cremated. So, nung nasa infirmary siya, kasi si Titus mo kasi Mr. Congeniality. So, maski nung nasa infirmary na siya, may mga Germans na nice sa kanya. So, dinadalaw siya sa infirmary nung araw. Kaya meron siyang nurse, tapos nabigyan pa siya ng viatico, which never happens to any ordinary prisoner. So to those who wondering kung nakatanggap ba ng last ride si Titus, yes, nakatanggap siya in that situation. Miraculously. Hindi po ba? Now, so nung namatay na siya, he was immediately cremated. Again, kaya, huwag kayong maniniwala if somebody tells you that they have a first-class relic of idols, because it does not exist. Because he was immediately burned in the crematorium together with other prisoners. So, hindi lang pa isa-isa ang nilalagay sa oven. Minsan 4. Ngayon, I'd like to show, di ba nakikita niyo yung kisame? So, yung mga prisoners na let's say, naghihingalo na sa kanila mga barracks or whatever, para mapadali sila mamatay, ibibitin sila doon. Yes. Ibibitin sila doon para diretso na sila masunog. Nakisabi, binibitay na sila. So mga naghihingalo, mga may sakit na, para mapadaling na lang, kasi alam na doon mapapunta, pitayin na. So binibitay sila. Paano gano'n? Ginadali kasi. So gano'n. So gano'n. So can you imagine how cruel it was? It was really terrible. We couldn't imagine. Pero what if you're there sa crematorium, ano yung bigat-bigat ng loob? Ang bigat-bigat sa loob. Kasi the negative vibration, the negative energy, fear, sadness, and everything else, naiwan dun eh. Kaya paglabas mo ng crematorium, bigat ng feeling na hindi mo ma-explain. So yun. Yeah, so ang dami namatay, thousands and thousands. Yung kabilang yan, it's what's called the shower room. Pero hindi naman siya shower. Kasi sabihin ng mga Nazis, hey, today is your bath day. So maganda kayo. Mas matualya ninyo, malamit ninyo. Yay! Then papapasukin sila sa shower room. Yung pala, hindi pala tubig ang lalabas, kundi gas. Gas chamber pala siya. So patay sila lahat. Can you imagine? Never again, mga kapatid. Never again. Correct. So his cause for beatification, so pag-usapan na rin natin yung cause niya since we're celebrating his canonization. Okay. His cause for beatification was advanced because Titus exemplified what one can achieve with fidelity to the gospel principles. Tayo po ba kaya natin? Faithful to the gospel values? Yes. Slide. Okay. Let's just start one day at a time. So also Titus' holiness was deepened and enhanced by sufferings. In 1918, Father Redemptus Balabek, o Carm, the late great Redemptus Balabek, became postulator general. A problem was proving that Titus was not martyred for political reasons. Naging problema ni Redemptus yan. Miraculously, The transcripts of his interrogation before Nazi judges were saved. At doon sa transcript na yon, nandun lahat, sumabas lahat, na si Titus, quote ng quote, from the Bible. Kaya lahat ng pinilalaban niya, based talaga, grounded on gospel values. Not just because of political reasons, and only for that, na-aprobahan yung niya, cause for beatification. That he was not just a political martyr, but rather a Catholic Christian, religious martyr. So that's what happened. Of course, maraming nangyari before 1980 when Redemptus took over. So many things happened, especially during the time of mga 1969 to 1974. During that time, because at that time, the promoter of the faith, the very influential Spaniard, si Rafael Perez, actually he was against the beatification of Titus. Background. He was a Spaniard. During that time, when this was all happening, Pope Paul VI, in-stop muna niya ang lahat ng causes ng Spanish Civil War martyrs. Stop muna niya. Pinatigil muna niya. Bakit? Kasi the decision was actually quite political. Mahabang kwento. Pero yun, so nagalit itong promoter of the cause, who happened to be a Spaniard. Sabi niya, hanggat hindi nagiging santo ang mga Spanish Civil War martyrs namin, hindi magiging santo si Titus. Damay-damay. Damay-damay na. So nung natanggal na si yung taong yun, by 1980, ayun na. So si Redemptus, pinush na at tinrabaho na. Okay. Yan background, no? Napaka-komplikado ng cause, pag-initiate ng cause for beatification canonization, no? Ang daming here. So this beatification took place in Rome on November 3, 1985. He became the first Catholic martyr of the Nazi era. So to clarify, he was not the first Nazi-era Catholic to be proposed for sainthood. But he was the first to be put forward as a martyr. So, klaro tayo sa area na yun. So the success of his cause was significant. It set the precedent for arguing that Catholic victims of Nazis could be declared martyrs in situations where it could be shown that the hierarchy had provoked the tyrant into acting against the church by denouncing its unjust action, which was exactly what Titus did. And because of the success, this visit inspired the causes of other candidates. In fact, ang success ng cause ni Titus ang naging model ng promoters ng cause ni Edith Stein. So because of the success of this cause, na-inspire ang mga promoters ng cause ni Edith Stein. Pwede natin gamitin yung logic ng cause ni Titus para kay Edith Stein. And that they did successfully. Yet even him. So maraming mga naging president. Yan. So marami na. So kaya nagkaroon na tayo ng mga white martyrs, red martyrs. Which is yun nga. And the interesting thing is, nauna silang makanonize kaysa kay Titus. Diba? That was also my question. All this time, for so many years na naging tanong ko, bakit nauna sila? Samantalang tututusin naging template nila yung foster canonization ni Titus. And I received my closure when we brought the relic of Titus to Pangasinan, and Soc Villegas talked about the timing of the canonization of Titus. Nasabi ni Soc, and I'm just going to paraphrase, he said, sa panahon kasi ngayon ng fake news and disinformation, kaya pinag forward sa atin ng Diyos si Titus kasi significant siya for the times. He was speaking to the times, and therefore he was relevant. So all this time, because of what Soc said, not him. Shut up na me. Natahimik na ako sa area na yan. Sabi ko, okay. So really, which is really true. Which is really good. And looking back, kung tutusin, hindi nung Pinoy si Titus. Pero what was happening during Titus' canonization? It was our elections. Like, oh my God. Talagang si Lord talaga. He has thought of everything. He thinks of everything. Nauunahan na tayo ng Diyos. He really designed these things. So after considering a miracle of healing of Father Michael Driscoll O'Carn from a severe form of skin cancer through the intercession of Blessed Titus Brandsma, it was because of this miracle that paved the way for his canonization. His Holiness Pope Francis canonized Titus Brandsma on May 15, 2022, along with other 9 holy men and women. So a year later, we've been receiving miracles, favors granted through the intercession of St. Titus. Nakakatuwa kasi yung mga natatanggap namin po mga pumasa sa board exams. Academic, di ba? Professor, school figure. So, apparently mukhang malapit siya doon. At malapit din si Titus sa mga journalists. So who knows, perhaps one day, his patronage as patron of journalists, together with Francis de Sales, who, by the way, was really a journalist, not a lawyer, who just distributed pamphlets of his works. So who knows, perhaps someday, in God's time, he might be declared officially as a patron of journalists. Because Titus is really a saint for our times. So it's not just during the 40s when he was alive, but even up till now, as I've said at the start of this talk, Titus is really among us. You can see Titus everywhere in what's happening around us, in the situations that happen, not just in our country, but perhaps in your own personal lives. You will find how Titus could affect you. Perhaps you might not even be aware of it, as the case happens most of the time, but you can always count on the fact that somehow, in another space, in another time, Titus is there with you. Titus is among us. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters. I hope you learned something. Yes, thank you very much. It is an honor to share Titus' life and times with all of you. So God bless us all in happy peace of Saint Joseph the Worker.
Thank you, Kuya Lester. Thank you. Let us all give Brother Lester a big round of applause. We still have 10 minutes before the break. We can accommodate 2 questions. The most na po yung 2 tanong. Baka po may tanong.
Parang thesis defense?
Sa akin, Kuya Lester, naging malinaw sa atin. Hindi po sa lethal injection namatay si Titus. Tama po ba? Kasi sakit eh.
So, alam niyo man, sakit din. Konting lang, bibigay. So, bumigay siya talaga. Everything Sabi ko tayo lang na healthy eh. Diba? Mag-gardening lang tayo ngayon. After 10 minutes, Kuya, nagkaka-heat stroke ako. Wala na. Pasok na format. Apo. What you say? Hi.
Hindi ko ba, napunta siya doon sa clinic, tapos may nurse, yung sinaksak sa kanya, binigyan din siya na, yung kanyang rosary binigay pa, di ba? Ano kaya yung sinaksak doon? Baka hindi na legal, pero baka yun.
Baka man. Siguro, it's possible. It's possible. Even the rosary na sa kanya, So there are many possibilities, pero that was really, it could have been anything. Probably just something to sustain him a little longer. Probably. That's also possible. Over lunch. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kuya Toots.
Hindi siya question. In 1 hour, na-summarize ni Brother Lester yung mga highlights. Siguro sa July 27, siguro na ang promise mag-organize ng parang ganito for journalists and Catholic schools like NUJP, CFA, mga kapisan broadcasters sa Philippines like that. And then mga Catholic CAP schools like President of St. Paul's, Apollo. Kasi maganda yun na sa contemporary times natin, kailangan natin ng mga models o inspiration. So, maganda, no? Marami tayong video, marami na tayong nabasa, pero ang galing ni Brother Lester, parang kinupress na lahat. Do you agree with me? Yes! Kasi, nakilala natin siya ulit, naintindihan. So, I think, pwede natin introduce, hindi lang sa Carmel family si Titus, pero sa secular world, sa journal, sa labas. So, yun lang, proposal ko lang. Na-excite kasi ako. Ganun ko na-excite.
Thank you, Kuya Toots. Ang sa katunayan po ay bukod po sa mga university sa magaganda pong suggestion din ni Father Toots yun. Dahil din po natin ang relic ni St. Titus Brandsma sa mga media company like ABS, GMA, Inquirer, Veritas, yun, Star. Marami pa po. Kaya please, kailangan po namin ng dasal ninyo. SMNI, sumalangit nawa. Wag naman, basta pa ipagdasal po ninyo. Kasi syempre kailangan din po ng konting push pa. Mas maipakilala pa natin sa mainstream media yung isang Titus Brandsma na journalist talaga. Tama po yan, po.
Tama po. Wala.
Dr. Stan, follow up?
Follow ko yung kay Father Toots.
Yes po.
Kasi sinabi ni Brother Lester na during the time of Titus Brandsma, influencer siya. Yung the term influencer, sino yung mga influencer ngayon? Diba? Baka kailangan din sila ni-invite. Diba? Push.
Mga vloggers.
Nakuha tayo accommodation, kahit sa mga vloggers, nandun lang sila pag naghanap ng ng accommodation at mga food, kailangan, yes, kung di, i-vlog nila na nag-serve ka ng nagsapas lang para sa kanila. Mahirap, alam mo naman, lalo lang sila. Yeah.
Hindi content yung...
Yeah, kasi hindi mo content ang serve nila, it's cloud. So the more controversial their topic is, the more that they will gain followers. It's not really so much as the content. That's sadly it's the truth. So content beat down.
So, baka po meron pa na hindi makatulog mamayang gabi kasi hindi na itanong kay Brother Lester. Ano gusto namin itanong? Baka meron pa po.
Sige po.
Good morning po, Sister Mabel
Ano po?
po from Puhani.
Hello.
Po, ito po ang aming tropa.
Hello po.
So, thank you, Brother Leslie.
You're welcome.
Listening to you, na-realize ko na, although popularly known si St. Titus, pagpupot sa kanyang advocacy for justice
Yes po.
and truth, kaya na-struck po ako dun sa the mention of yung love niya for talking about Christian mysticism. Kasi naisip ko lang po, hindi naman po lahat tayo ang response natin sa tao ng Panginoon is to a conscious advocacy. So, can you talk more about how he was talking about Christian mysticism to ordinary people?
Yes. He was talking about that through experiences. So, si Titus, tinitailor-made naman niya yung kanyang pagtuturo ng mysticism sa kung sino kausap niya. So, if it's a university audience, of course, nandito ang kanyang teaching niya. Pero pagdating niya sa mga common tao, he would talk through experiences, through everyday experiences. Hindi lang through everyday experiences, he would not only talk about, but he would also show mysticism to the people. How? Through the way he relates with them. Because he believed that we are God, we carry God with us. We see God in each and every one of us. And therefore, if we carry God with us, then of course, we should radiate God in the way we relate to people. And that's exactly what he did. An example, every time na pupunta siya ng school, may mapapansin siya, kasi may daan po kasi na may paakyat. Ngayon, may napapansin siya, meron isang lalaki na hirap na hirap itulak yung kariton niya. Ngayon, ginagawa ni Titus, kung napansin niya to, aabangan na niya lagi yung taong yun, magtatago siya sa isang sulong. E di ba bakit na yung dadaan, kunwari, uy, nandiyan ka na pala, magtulungan na kita. So, these things, hindi, kasi the way we understand mysticism, we always refer to it as stigmata, levitation, mga ganyan, things like that. But of course, mysticism is what? Being mystics is what? What did the mystics experience? What did they go through? Simply put, if you break it down to its simplest form, what did a mystic experience? It's a meeting with God. Yes, so every one of us are mystics because we meet God every day. We meet God in the people we talk to, basis nasa LRT tayo, MRT, we meet God there. Di ba minsan pag matapat ka sa aircon, salamat sa Diyos. O di ba, that's God, that's an experience with God. God provides. Ako lagi ganyan pag, di ba, minsan pagpasok ko sa LRT, sa MRT, init ka na, di ba? Lalo na pag galing ka sa pag nagaling ka sa Mount Shaw Boulevard. Di ba? So, pag-akyat mo sa taas, parang nag-workout na. Kaya pag sakay mo, napapag ka sa, thank you, Lord. Thank you for providing me with this aircon. Ganun ba? So, minor things nakala natin okay lang, pero these are actually subtle ways of God meeting us. So, it would be nice to sometimes be aware of these things. But of course, because of the busyness of our lives, kasi dami natin iniisip, aminin natin kasi naglalakad tayo sa kalsada ng ganito, may dami natin iniisip, hindi po ba? Hindi pa kasama dyan yung mga pag-nagbabasa ka ng mga text at meaning ng mga updates sa messengers, di ba? So, yun po. Thank you po for the question.
Thank you, Phyllis. Last question.
There's another question. Okay.
Magandang umaga po sila. Brother,
Yes po.
at tanong ko lang po, kasi sa kapanahonan ngayon, obviously hindi siya masyadong tinatanong palagi ng ibang tao. Pero, di ba si Titus Brandsma, naging influencer, kilala sa lipunan, pati sa mga tao. Di ba during that time, kahit pa paano, may mga kababalihan din na, wala bang, sa kwento ng buhay niya, wala bang na-curious kung nagkaroon siya ng manliligaw?
Wala.
Kasi di ba,
Yes.
kasi di ba, pag wala may gusto mo ba, isang lalaki na nakakahanga naman yung pagmumukha, yung tsura. Diba, kaya malaman, may kakapaisip ko na siguro suplado, kaya, di ba?
Okay.
Sa tingin niya po ba?
Okay. Okay. Ngayon pa lang sasabihin ko sa inyo, wala talaga. Lahat ng mga biographers ni Titus, wala talaga siya. Hindi siya nagka-love life. And, wala. Basic kasi siya talaga. Kasi siya, di ba, nating seminaryo eh. So, simula pa ng dire-diretso na he never looked back. Of course, yes. Well, that's true, pero kasi at the time, iba kasi ang iba ang kultura ng araw eh. Iba kultura ng araw, this was what? Late 1800s. And we're talking about Dutch culture. Ang mga Dutch kasi very formal. Hindi katulad natin na, ganon. Alam mo na yun, pag ganon. So, basically si Titus talaga, hindi talaga nagka-love life. I mean, I hate to say this, pero hindi ba even his parents found him unattractive. So, wala ko sa nagpapit siya. I'm just saying.
Pero fair enough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Kasi ibang kultura dun eh. Di katulad niya, pag sabi mo yung seminarista kayo, ay habulin ng mga chicks. O ng cats. So, yun. So, iba talaga. Iba kasi doon eh. And if you meet, lalo na yung mga tao doon, ngayon, kung ngayon, very formal, how much more yung panahon na yun, na very old school sila, na noon, no touch naman, huwag ka magka-interest ang tanong sa seminaries, huwag ka magkamali, yung ganun ba? Baka ma-ostracize ka. Social pariah, ito. Yun.
Thank you, Kuya Les. Thank you, brother. So, that's it. Kuya Les,
Okay.
thank you very much. Muli po, palakpakan po natin si Brother Mark Lester Honey po. And because of that, ay bigyan daan po natin ng isang napakagandang announcement mula po sa ating minamahal Father Christian Benafer Ocar.
Minamahal talaga. Beloved. Yung adjective na beloved. Pwede ba? Cute. Dahil na po sa ating kay Titus Brandsma, dito po gaganatin po ang 22nd Spirituality Forum on August 2, 3, and 4. Write it down. Okay. Ang topic po ay Truth and the Spirituality of St. Titus Brandsma. So we had invited experts for truth telling, truth documenting, and truth defending. It is not enough to tell the truth, but you have to stand for the truth, you defend the truth, and huwag naman die for the truth. Because all we know, Jesus is the truth. Correct? Pero may bayad yan. Correct. Kasi po, magpa-cater tayo, we have to pay our international speakers 4,008. Dahil Carmelite family kayo, 4,005. Declare ko na. Pabayad lang yan sa catering, no? Lord. Kasi po, it would be alam naman ng logistics. You know what I mean? So, kung hindi kayo lahat maka-join, perhaps your formation directress, your prioress, or your prior, pero kayo lahat mas maganda. So, ngayon, inaayos namin ang ating mga speakers. Okay? August 2, 3, and 4. Lalabas po by May ang ating invitation. Andun po doon, Gcash, Paymaya, or Paytm. Ito po ay sa Institute of Spirituality in Asia. Ito po ang the only Institute of Spirituality in Asia. Di ba bongga? At yan po ay Carmelite. So, alam natin na ang Philippine Province at ang Institute of Spirituality in Asia. Okay? August 24. Any question? Ay, per person po. Kasi you will have 2 meals and snacks and the certificate of attendance and alam naman natin. Kasi po, 500 na po ang per plate ngayon lunch. Tapos mag-shower pa ang iba. Okay? Experts po, Titus at Truth and Spirituality Titus Brandsma. On August 7, that's a Monday, meron tayong one-day course on Titus Brandsma, si Sister Anne-Marie Boss. That's a Monday. From the Titus Brandsma Institute ng Nijmegen. Whole day kasama natin siya. Wala pang details. Siguro BYOB na lang tayo para but ilalabas din namin sa Institute of Spirituality in Asia ang invitation. So sana ma-negotiate sa mga student friars kasi at novices at saka sa Carmelite family kasi talagang uwi na dapat siya ng August 7 pero nag-beg kami na please August 8 na lang so that we will have one day for us, whole day for us. Ang dissertation niya po on Elijah, but she is very much involved in Titus Brandsma. Andito na ang isang expert on St. Titus Brandsma. Okay ba yun? Libre yun. Di mo na tayo. Okay, see you on August 2, 3, 4, and August 7. Promise? Okay, I'm watching you. Thank you very much, po.
Thank you, Father Cruz. And after po nito, ay magpe-prepare po ang mga taga-Pulong-Buhangin, ang Regina Decor Carmel community para po sa kanilang short performance. Tapos po, ay habang sila po ay nagpe-perform, unti-unti, pwede po tayo pumunta doon po sa mga naggagawang at napakagandang attitude kiel-kiel doon. Meron po tayo doon na konting snacks. Okay po? So, magpe-prepare na po sila. At habang nagpe-prepare po, ito po yung homily na sinasabi ni Brother Lester ni Bishop Song. Kaya habang nagpe-prepare po sila, ay panoorin po natin.
But as we say, there is life everlasting for the saints and those who are faithful. We also need to remind liars that there is eternal death for liars. For liars who refuse to change. For liars who earn a living by lying. For liars who gain their livelihood by destroying reputations. There is everlasting life for those who are faithful. But there is everlasting hell for those who live in lies. We welcome you with open arms, hearts, the relic of St. Titus Brandsma.
Ang bukasyong Carmelita ay tulad din ng isang binhi na ipinunla sa masaganang bukirin ng Carmelo. Naghahangad na maging isang ganap na puno, pinakamatatag na di kayang wasakin ng anumang bagyo. Sa kanyang lilim at bungay masisiyahan kahit sino. Ang lumago sa Carmelo ay punong-puno ng pag-asa, dahil tayo'y nasa malawak at masaganang lupain, pinataba sa apuno ng taimtim na panalangin, dinilig ng dugo ng mga martir ng sambayanan, at inaruga sa pagmamahal ng ating ina ng Carmelo. Sa lahat ng Carmelita, ito ang hamon sa atin. Damhin ang init na nagmula sa araw ng pakikibaka. Lasapin ang masaganang lupain ng pagkakapatiran. Inumin ang tubig na nagmula sa pawis ng mga api, pagkat tayo'y mga binhing ipinunla sa pangarap ng sambayanan. sapagkat tayo'y mga binhing ipinili